Hey, this is Heidi Lynch.
And I'm Perrie Voss. And this is Avocado Toast, the series podcast.
Our web series was inspired by our real life experiences,
The great ones
and the heartbreaking ones. And our podcast series is inspired by the community around us, the people we collaborate with, the people who lift us up, the people who listen when things aren't going so well and celebrate when things are.
And in our podcast, we wanted to reach out and chat with other artists and creators to find out what makes them tick, what inspires them,
what drives them,
what brings them joy.
We hope that they inspire you as much as they inspired us.
Enjoy. Today, Perrie chats with Anna Catley, who's an editor and was one of the editors on Avocado Toast, the series Season 1.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
It is.
Look at you.
Dude, you look super cute. I was just observing your beautiful purple bedroom and you're just like a beacon of light in the middle of it. It's so good to see you.
Too.
This is Anna Catley, who is one of the best editors I've ever had the privilege of not only working with, but becoming friends with over the course of 3 months.
Yeah.
Working like 2 feet apart from one another.
Back to back.
Yeah. I think loving each other, like I would say 98% of the time, which I think is like a success rate.
Yeah, I think it was not loving each other for like 1 week at the end. And
I think so too.
Yeah, everything else was pretty like smooth sailing.
I agree. And just like falling more and more in friend love, which I just thought was delightful.
It's because our rising and our moon are the same. We're just very compatible.
That's right. Anna made, we're both like astrology nerds, but Anna made me like want to know more about it right away. And what you downloaded like a poster, which was you ordered, or you didn't download it, you ordered it.
Yeah, we ordered a tarot card print.
That's right.
That was when we did a poll for the future of Avocado Toast.
That's right.
Yeah, and our kind of main card that came out of that, I think it was the Queen of Wands. Is that right?
I think so.
Couldn't tell you much about how we associated it with Avocado Toast, but I think it had something to do with like big projects on the horizon and success.
Yeah, it was something
interpreted.
It was something like make the thing and people will receive it in the way that it was intended to be received, or something very epic like that.
Yeah, and it just like resonated with, because Charlie was in that poll as well.
We
all pulled it, and then I immediately ordered the print from Mystic Mondays, and we put it up on our wall between us.
I want to hear how you're doing and like what's been going on for you during crazy COVID times as an editor, because I guess it's something you can sort of do from anywhere, but also like projects aren't always happening, right?
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, when Avocado Toast was like wrapped, which I guess is kind of the end of May, I think I started seeing all the episodes were out by the end of May. I kind of took a little break from editing because, like you said, there wasn't a lot going on. No. But it was only really a month off, and then music videos kind of started coming in. Even now, I have like quite a few projects on the go, whether it's music videos or I have 3 shorts happening at the moment.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so there is stuff happening, and big productions are also back. So I've also been assistant editing on another show that's being shot in Newfoundland right now. But yeah, it's been kind of nice though, being able to work from home and just like receive footage like at my house and then sit at my table in my kitchen and just like organize it. It's been kind of nice, but I'm starting to like, as you know, and like you experience this as an editor, it's like you kind of get like lonely, like not going into an office and stuff. So I do miss, especially the Avocado Toast office, which was just like such a friendly place. And I do miss like going into work a lot.
Yeah.
Editors are just like so solitary.
Yeah. And I think it's an interesting thing that like, yes, editing can be done from anywhere. It can be really like lonely, and it's just like you and your computer, and it's like, okay. But which was so lovely, like working with you on Avocado Toast, because if one of us hit a roadblock or we're like, we just couldn't see past an edit or a cut, like you can just be like, what's going on? Come look over my shoulder. Why is this not working?
Yeah, that was always so helpful. Just like showing, like turning around, like wheeling around and like showing you my cut. and then you wheeling around and showing me yours. It was so
set it up. We were like back to back.
Yeah.
Like our desks like faced away from each other, but the backs of our chairs like almost touched. So we were just...
They almost touched.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was just like, yeah, you taught me so much, and like I think I might have taught you like one thing, but you taught me so much.
We taught each other a lot.
We did.
I think I learned a lot from you in terms of how to edit actors, because you have really good insight into what are good performances. Not to say that I don't know what a good performance is, but you definitely were really good at highlighting what were the best performances. So I remember you switched out a couple of takes in my edit at one point, and I was like, oh, I get it. Like, I get why she chose that take instead.
Oh, cool.
So really cool.
That's really good to know. I mean, yeah, and I mean, acting's my background, so I guess that's part of it. But you also, yeah, you really helped me see like how to journey from scene to scene. Like you helped like cut things together in this like really beautiful way.
Flowing from scene to scene is definitely difficult. Like, and also having like I think in Avocado Toast, we used a lot of like music tracks to connect scenes. So picking like proper music tracks to go with B-roll, like it's all, and sometimes you don't need B-roll, and then how do you make it flow? Like,
totally.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, transitions are always hard.
They're always hard.
Yeah.
But it was a good working dynamic, I think, for both of those things.
It was so fun.
Yeah. How did you get into editing? What was your journey into this world, this wacky world?
Journey.
Because I know you were a film buff first.
Yes. How far back do you want to go on this?
I mean, whatever makes sense for your brain. Like if you're like, I was 4 and I watched Jumanji, and like whatever you need to do.
I was 4 and watched Jumanji and had nightmares because of the giant spiders. Scary movie. I actually haven't like watched it in years because I'm still like a little scared of Jumanji.
Fair enough. Yeah.
No, I've been a film buff since I was little. I love movies, and I always knew I was gonna be in film. I just didn't really know in what capacity. I didn't know editing was a thing in high school. So I kind of just thought I was gonna be a film professor, like I wanted to be an academic. I also loved making these like videos of like school trips or school events. And I was kind of one of the first people in my school to like, instead of showing a slideshow presentation of like photos of the event, I wanted to edit them. And I didn't really know what editing was. I had iMovie and I kind of like made transitions and stuff, but it was my absolute favorite part of going on any excursion was like, at the end, I get to make this video. Like that's my favorite part. And it still never registered to me that that was a job. So I went off to Queens to go to do film studies, to be a professor. Film critic at the time is what I wanted to be. And then in my 3rd year of Queens, I was in an experimental film class and we had to write a paper. And at that point, I was just sick of writing papers. So I asked if I could make a video essay, which is, you know, just an essay that you narrate to film. And my professor said it was okay. So I made this and I kind of based it on Every Frame of Painting, which was really big back then. He was a film essayist. And I loved making it. And I think it turned out really well. And it got picked up by a lot of film blogs like No Film School and IndieWire. So it actually got a lot of popularity. So I decided to make another one, which was about Wes Anderson and Yasujiro Ozu. And that one got way more attention than my first one. So I thought, oh, maybe there's something in this. So then I kind of explored how to be an editor instead, or maybe like a career film essayist. But eventually I just went with editor and I went to Humber after Queens for post-production. And yeah, I haven't really looked back.
That's amazing. And I will also say that you have one of the most cataloging brains of like film repertoire director facts, like who's on what, who's made what. Like you are like the true definition of a film buff in my
Thank you.
brain. Like no, like it's crazy. I'm like, oh, Anna would know that answer. Like honestly,
yeah, my brain is definitely like always thinking about film. And like for some reason, whenever someone mentions a movie, it's like I see the year it came out in my brain.
Wow.
Like I don't know why that's like, it's like a knee-jerk reaction. I don't know where all that information comes from. And I can't even do basic math, but for some reason when someone says like mentions Jaws in like 1977, like I just like see it in my brain, or 75 actually. Wow, that's embarrassing. It's 1975. Not
so embarrassed. I'll edit it around it.
So embarrassing. Yeah, cut that out. Yeah, I don't know. It's like some sort of weird part of my brain just like you said, likes to catalog movies. I don't know what that's all about.
Really cool. That's
I'm
awesome.
glad you found it. Some people
No, I
find it
absolutely do. And I think it's because I specifically don't have a brain like that. I wish that I had more of it sometimes. Like I remember
Right.
things in picture.
See, I can't do that.
Oh, so that's really cool. Which is another reason we probably worked well together, because it's like a,
Probably.
you know, like a yin and a yang.
Yin and a yang.
Yeah.
Very good for us.
So, what sort of, I mean, other than it being a paying job, what drew you to wanting to, you know, give months of your life away to edit our show with me?
It was, I mean, at the time when you first called me about it, I was assisting on a TV show.
Yeah.
And I like assisting, but it's never where I want to end up. You know, it's like definitely a stable thing and it's fun and I meet a lot of people, but you know, I'm an editor and I want to just be editing. So when you called me about it and said, hey, like, do you want to be an editor on this web series? I was like, editor and a web series, and I've never cut a series before. I've only cut, at that point I'd only cut shorts and like feature film and like music videos. So it was just like an exciting, different change of pace, I guess, from what I'd done before. And I want to be able to say I've done everything. So it was really attractive to me to get to do a series. And I also really wanted to work with you. And because that one time we met and you interviewed me, I feel like we just like chatted mostly about like ourselves, and you know, I feel like we just hit it off right away. And I thought it'd be really fun to work with you.
Yeah, I'm just really, really glad that we were able to work on this together, because it's still one of my most loved experiences of the entire beginning to end of the whole production. So it was very cool.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah.
It was so fun. I honestly, like, especially during COVID times, I just miss like having fun with like friends at work and like going for a drink after a particularly like rough day, or like going for a walk to get coffee, like just like little things I miss. And like, you know, just like having little chats like first thing when you start your day.
It's good to like have that. I think it gets your brain in the right headspace for it.
Definitely, because like the show is like two best friends.
It's
like,
two best friends, 100%. And and we had a lot going on, you and me, in that time, so we needed to chat through it.
Exactly.
So you watch a lot of TV and film, obviously. What do you think makes a good show? Like, what is it about a show that you're like, what is that thing that pulls you in for you?
What makes a good show? Now I'm trying to think of all the shows I like.
What is the show you like right now that
the
you've
show
been watching?
I just finished season 2 of The Boys.
Oh yeah?
Where Perrie Voss' head blows up. I like that bit. No, I feel like The Boys is a bad example.
I mean, it is a watchable and crushable show though. Like I was.
Oh yeah, like we binged it. It was so good. Yeah, I think for me, honestly, the most important thing with a show is dialogue. I think, because you can have, you know, wide, long takes without any cuts, but if the dialogue's bad, you know, it's not really watchable. I also watch for like editing, obviously, because I'm an editor. Can I talk about a perfect film?
Yes.
Okay. It's not a show, but like when I think about like a perfect film, I think about Jaws. I don't know, something to me about Jaws has always been perfect, like in terms of camera work and like editing, especially because I'm obsessed with the edit for Jaws.
Cool.
But it's also like the pacing is incredible, like the way it opens, you know, the iconic, you know, underneath the water and going swimming, and the edit is like perfect to me because it was Verna Fields who did the edit, and she just shows so much restraint. Like she knows how to make a quality film and like how to show off the best elements of the film. I remember reading a story about Verna Fields and Steven Spielberg in the edit room, and he had obviously spent like a ton of money on this stupid shark, and so he wanted to show it off as much as possible. So like she kept cutting early and Steven Spielberg kept saying to cut later, and she said, okay, I'm going to put my hand on like the film strip where I think it should stop, and you should put your hand where you think it should stop. and they were always like frames and frames apart. And eventually Steven Spielberg just like relented to what she wanted to do. And she was right, because it kind of breaks the suspense of the film when you can see like the actual shark, like the plastic or robotic shark. Because she just kept all the mystery in the edit, like, and it was like so much more effective. I'm trying to imagine like what Steven Spielberg's cut, if he had cut it, what it would have looked like, but I can't imagine it would have been as good as Verna's, because I feel like he would have like tried to show too much. And like as editors, you want to show like just the right amount to like keep the story moving and keep the flow of the show. So I always like think about Verna when I'm like cutting, and I think about like pacing as like a really important thing. Yeah.
That's so cool.
I don't know if that's a if that's
no,
a
it is. It's a huge. It's interesting talking, I mean, to different people in different departments, because I think, you know, there's no right answer to this question. It's not like a, you know, quiz or anything, but it's like, you know, talking to Jay, they were like, oh, it's the characters, and I was like, yeah, I can totally see that. And then, but I'll also watch stuff, and if the editing's bad, I'm just like, my head wants to explode, and I'm like, it's not easy to edit at all.
Yeah.
It's also just like, it's so easy to do a good, like, to not do a bad edit. Like, that should be, you know, a number one if that's your job, to not be a bad edit.
You know, like that. But you know, I always kind of feel bad, like when I see movies that are like badly edited, I always like feel a little bad for the editor, because I feel like it's kind of like sometimes it's out of an editor's control. Like, do you remember everyone went up in arms about the editor for Bohemian Rhapsody that year at the Oscars?
No, but I still haven't seen it.
So the crazy thing is that like I never see editing going viral. You know, no one really pays attention to that.
Yeah.
But like with Bohemian Rhapsody, there's this one particular scene where I think there's like 5 characters in the scene, or maybe 6, and like, you know, characters walk to this table and they're all sitting around this table, and the way it's cut is like it's cutting to every person like so often. And it's just like, it is badly edited, like there's no way around it. But everyone was like calling out this editor on Twitter being like, oh, this is a horrible scene. I'm like, that editor has never been recognized, like people don't know his name. Like even if he's like a famous editor, he's famous to us, but he's not like famous to Twitter. Now that guy's famous to Twitter for being a bad editor, when really that, I'm looking at his cut and I'm like, that's a producer's cut. That's someone who wants every person to be seen in that scene. Like there's no way this editor actually cut that scene thinking it was good. Like that's someone behind him, like forcing him to do things, I think.
Wow.
So like, yeah, it's funny when we talk about like bad editing, because I always think like sometimes it really is just a bad editor, but sometimes especially if it's like a bigger film with like lots of producers, I'm just like, oh, I feel bad for that guy. You know,
that's really true. And I think like a lot of the time it's smaller indie stuff that I've seen that, you know, I'm just like, oh, like you're really just missing the mark on that. But it is true, and it is a, you know, it is a post collaboration, and you just hope that the people that are around you, it's not just like a completely divergent reason why they're asking you to change a cut. It's like hopefully going to actually support the story. And I think we were lucky enough on Avocado Toast to like experience that. But I can imagine, yeah, if someone's like, yeah, I need to see more of this person's face, and you're like, oh, but the story like.
And I think it was like because it was different actors portraying all the different members of Queen. So I think it was like, we don't want this to be like a fully Freddie Mercury movie. Like we have to show everyone who's also in Queen. Like I feel like that's what happened.
Right.
You honestly don't need to see Bohemian Rhapsody, but Rocket Man, which came out like the next year, was so good. Okay. That's the movie that was like the good, you know, not rockumentary, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Movie about a rock star. That was an actually good movie, I think.
If rockumentary is not a word, it should be.
I like, the funny thing is like now that it, like once I said it, I was like, okay, so what is like This Is Spinal Tap? Because This Is Spinal Tap is a mockumentary, but it's about a rock band. So like
a rocky mockumentary.
A rocky mockumentary. I kind of love that.
Because it rocks you, but it's a mockumentary.
I'm gonna call it that from now on.
Yeah, let's start it. Let's make it happen. Speaking about like quote unquote bad edits, or is there anything that you have learned in your career in terms of like failures that you've experienced, where then you've then been able to say, okay, now I'm better for it, or I've learned from this?
one time where I was assisting on a music video.
Yeah.
That I also cut some parts of, for a really big Canadian artist that you would know.
Okay.
There was a card that got corrupted on set, and they sent it off to get it, fixed or like recovered. And that card had never gone to a backup. And and I knew that. But we were just like working so crazy hard and like not sleeping that I just kind of blanked, and I got this card and I downloaded just the proxies, not the raw, because all I needed was the proxies.
Right.
And a couple of weeks later, all these cards went back to this production company and they got wiped. And then we were in a color session for the music video, and they realized they didn't have the raw of this card that they spent so much money and time to recover.
Oh my God.
And I realized that I had sent it back to the production company and they had wiped it, and I had like a meltdown. Like I was beside myself because I've never made a mistake that big before. And then it actually ended up working out because like we called the guy who recovered the drive, and he said, oh, like it took so long to recover that I thought I might just save it just in case. So he literally saved me. But if he hadn't done that, I would have been, it was so many takes in the music video too.
Oh my God.
I think it like really instilled in me like a deep panic of footage and where it is. Sometimes I'm not responsible for the footage, but in that case, it was like a run and gun and I was the assistant and I should have checked it. But yeah, I think I'm always checking like who has backups. And if someone gives me a drive with raw on it, I'm like, this isn't the only backup, right? And if they say,
you said that to me a few times. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, if this is the only drive, I'm not taking it. Like,
right.
Basically, I just
you said that like verbatim to me.
I was like, I'm not taking the drive if there's not a backup.
I was like, there's like 7 backups. We good.
I know, but like, it's all because of that one experience, and I haven't lost footage since. So I'm, I think it served me well. It made me a lot more on top of data management. And I think that's like one of my things now is just making sure that we have everything and like constantly checking. And that made me a much better editor for sure, because I know where everything is at any given point. Like I keep track of it. And that experience deeply scarred me, but in a good way.
Yeah. No, that's good. Sometimes you need that.
Definitely.
Speaking about Avocado Toast, now that you've had some like time and distance from it, do you have anything that you look back on in terms of like characters that you loved or things that, stuck with you or moments that you were like, that was a great moment, or like anything that, have reflected on since having some distance from it?
Like things I really loved about it and like characters I loved?
Sure.
Last time I watched the whole show and it was on Prime. The things that kind of like stick with me are a lot of things from episode 10, I guess.
A good episode.
I love it. And I love it so much because it's like, I think it's the most emotional, or one of the more emotional ones. I think 9 and 10 are the most emotional. But I think back on just the ending shot of the show where it's you and Heidi, and you're just like both collapsed and just like on your phones and just like wanting to like talk to the other person. And I love that moment so much. It's like it's the image I think I see when I like think of Avocado Toast, which is funny because it's the end shot. But I loved you and Heidi's chemistry a lot. Like you guys are the stars, so you're obviously sticking out most to me. But
like 8% Perrie and Heidi.
Yeah. I loved your guys' dynamic, and I really felt it when you guys like parted ways, and I really felt it when you wanted to see each other again. And I just really loved kind of how your friendship kind of ebbed and flowed throughout the show. But a character I wasn't expecting to love as much as I did is Jordan. I almost said Jonathan.
Amazing. Well, I mean, yeah.
I know, I'm so used to it.
Yeah.
I cut so many scenes where you called him Jonathan.
Yeah.
I also loved that Meg Ruffing's in the show.
Yeah, I know.
She's so cool. I love her. I love everything I've heard about her. I love, all the stuff she's done.
Yeah.
I think she's like the most beautiful person, and I've never met her. I'm talking about her like I know her, but like I love like watching her. I would like see her smile on screen, and I would just like smile back.
Yeah. No,
she has such like light. I love her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she was when I wasn't expecting to love as much as I did. But like looking back at the show, it was like one of my favorite people to cut too, because she's just, I don't know, she's so good.
She's so good, and every moment is just so filled with her. So it's like yeah, she never, whatever cut you use, she's giving you something on the screen, which is incredible.
So glad you guys have them.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to keep you too much longer, but I just wanted to say if there's anything that you wanted to like, anything you're working on right now that you're excited about that's coming out that you can talk about.
Well, the main thing that just happened, which you and I were chatting a little bit about, was Leah, who is a big fan supporter of Avocado Toast.
Yeah.
And Kat Weber, who's another editor, and I started this like little collective that we call Coven Collective.
Coven Collective, which you can follow on Instagram. What is the handle for that?
It's covenco.tv.
Okay.
Covenco.tv.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's something we've been talking about since last year, and it's just Kat and Leah and I work together so often, and we trade work if one of us is busy and can't take it, and we just all trust each other so much in terms of how we edit and how we organize. Like Leah will assist for me because she knows how I like my projects, and I'll assist for her because I know she likes her projects. But we also have all worked with a lot of the same women over and over, and we thought it would be really amazing to have like something that we could attach ourselves to as like a group. And we ended up with Coven Collective, and it's basically like an avenue to kind of amplify female gaze and work with people who we really want to work with. And yeah, we're just really excited about it. And we knew we wanted to launch it on Halloween of 2020. Obviously didn't work out super according to plan because we can't have a launch party or anything. Yeah. But we're planning to at least have a 1-year kind of anniversary. Hopefully, fingers crossed, COVID isn't as part of our lives in 2021.
Seriously, oh my God.
Oh, but we did launch it because we wanted
Blue Moon too.
Yeah, the Blue Moon. So yeah, under the blue moon on Halloween, it just seemed like perfect timing for something like a coven.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're really excited about that.
Do you guys have a website?
Yes, it's covenco.tv. It's the same as the Instagram.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, and the thing that we like launched it with was Barbara Ann, which is a short that I cut last year for Kat. It's directed by Kat and it's written by Katie McCulloch, who also stars in it. And it won last year at the Toronto After Dark Festival. And we're really proud of it. And we haven't shown it off because it's been doing the festival kind of run. Yeah. But now it's finally streaming, which you can also find through covenco.tv. And so we thought it would just be like a great project to launch the Coven Collective with, because that was like a project that we all collaborated on. It's one of the first kind of Coven projects we ever did.
Amazing.
Yeah, we're really proud of it. It's one of my favorite things I've ever edited, other than Avocado Toast, obviously. Yeah, we're super excited about that.
Well, I'm excited for you guys, and you guys are just like at the top of your game in terms of, our network of creators in Toronto and Canada. And I just think it's so exciting to watch you guys like do more and more. And please come back for season 2 because I love you and I just want you to edit my show forever.
I also want the exact same thing.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I just want to edit Avocado Toast forever.
Yeah. So whenever that's going, I would be honored to have you. And what is your handle on Instagram? You can give that too.
It's at Anna Catley. So ANNACATLEY.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for listening.
And thank you to Ontario Creates for the support to make Avocado Toast the Series podcast possible. You can pick your player to watch all 10 episodes of Avocado Toast the Series at www.avocadotoasttheseries.com.
We'd also love to give a huge shout out to Russell Lauder for the use of their beautiful song, Cost of Living. You can find more of their music sprinkled throughout the episodes of our web series, as well as on Spotify, Bandcamp, and iTunes, and links to their social media